wine, beer, vodka. You can tell last night we had a lot of fun. Ouch! Ow! Oh, somebody put some paper in here. Paper cuts are the worst.
Baby. This is how I shave, Canada. Okay, get off.
It's the lowest form of entertainment.
I notice you always check for blood.
You would too if you're sticking your face in glass. Well, I'll tell you, it's basically we just want to prove to you that some people will do anything not to have to get a real job.
Which leads me right into our first tape, because Avery Raskin is someone who doesn't really have a real job, and while Jim gets his glass out of his eyes, we'll go to a tape with Avery on something called Nightmare Cafe. It's been shooting in Vancouver. Hey, Joe, I thought those went out with hula hoops.
Well, we're bringing hula hoops back too, but yeah, they did go out, and that's why we're around.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to preserve this Americana.
Well, we also have the traditional flame eater, I guess, is something you guys work with, and we'll go to break with that.
Yeah, we light a guy on fire, too, during the show.
Oh, that'll be nice. You can feel the heat. I mean, how can that guy not have a burned throat? I mean,
every fire eater that has ever got to any level of performance at all has been severely burned more than once, and he's no exception.
Yeah. Now, you guys come from the Seattle area. Does everybody live there? How does this tour come about?
This tour came about we did 24 straight sold-out shows in Seattle. And I guess some people in Vancouver had heard. Well, actually, we were on one of your TV shows out here, too, a long time ago. Evening Magazine or something. Do you have that?
There's an evening in Seattle, but we had the Vancouver show. Yeah.
Oh, it's just a similar thing?
Yeah, kind of a similar thing, only theirs was better. But now with our show here, there's a bit of a change. Speaking of a bit of a change, we're going to change pace and go to a group called the Psychedelic Furs, a British band, now based in New York. They had a string of hits in the 80s. They came out of the punk.
It's a real one, all right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad you asked that, because a lot of people confuse they think Swords Telescope or Retract or whatever, and that's really not the case.
It's muscle control.
Well, yes, it is. It's anybody that will tickle their gag reflex 4 and 5 times a day for 7 months may be able to swallow a sword.
Really? Okay, now who's this guy and what's he going to do for us?
This is our sword swallower. He's also the human terrarium, and in our show...
I don't want to ask.
Well, you're going to get it anyway. Okay. It is a freak show, Chris. Yeah. In our show, he'll eat live crickets, slugs, worms, and poke them down with a sword. Mm-hmm. But because he just had a big lunch, he'll only eat the sword right now.
Okay. Here we go.
Catherine Dunn called him the Svengali of the gag reflex.
Watch you don't get hit with the camera. There we go.
Now he's only going to go about 26, 27 inches because we've got another show to do later.
Ow. Ow. Beautiful.
There you go. He's not going to go any further than that because we got a show tonight.
But he could.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Look at that. Now, normally there'd be cricket and slug residue.
Yeah.
See, a lot of times those slugs use this sword as an escape hatch. So he pokes them down there.
More of this silliness after the break, folks.
pierce marks throughout his entire body, including the nether regions, the part that's most mister.
Okay.
But tonight, he's going to lift up a block with his nipples.
Ah! And he was an insurance salesman, he tells me.
Is that right?
That's what he says.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, if that isn't painful enough, hang a couple blocks from your nipples.
There you go.
You know. I see it takes a lot of physical conditioning.
Yes, it does. And you need to create the elasticity in your skin to be able to do this type of a feat.
Here it is.
As you can see, they are hooked to his nipples.
Ah!
He's now lifting it.
Ah!
He's now lifting it.
Ow!
There he goes.
Ow!
That's right. Ladies, don't try this at home.
Oh,
There you go. Look at that. Lolita body double. Isn't that beautiful?
Man.
Beautiful.
Okay, enough, enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3 times that weight
Thank you,
is
Lifto.
lifted in the show.
Wow, that is truly a nightmare. And speaking of nightmares, we got our friend Avery Raskin is out there with that Nightmare Cafe thing, and this really is a sideshow, a genuine freak show. You're not making any apologies about it.
No, not at all. Proud of it. Right out of the 1940s and the 1950s, it's the kind of show your great Aunt Betty used to watch like this. As I think I mentioned, a lot of shows up until 1963 used to come up into Canada
Right.
and back down, but now they've pretty much disappeared. But we do it in a 1990s way. It's real energetic, a lot of comedy we intersperse between the horror, and it's a lot of fun that way.
Now you're touring where?
We're touring all over. We're going to be going across Canada in a couple of weeks. We got to go back down to Portland and San Francisco, then do Seattle again.
And you're selling shows out.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Now who is coming to see the show? Kids?
The first time we do a show, it's usually the hipper arts crowd, and then it kind of goes over to just anyone with a normal curiosity. I mean, we realize we're not politically correct, maybe, in some ways. I guess you're not supposed to eat live slugs, but not yet.
All right. What's our last act, just to take us out, to close the show with it?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Our next act is the only thing that we do in our show that is not straight from a sideshow of the 40s and 50s. This is called gavage, and it's how you force feed hunger strikers.
Really?
Yeah, except that we've modified it for visual purposes, and basically we're gonna, well, you just watch.
Here we go.
But he's got 7 foot of Tygon tubing. He keeps feeding it, going down past the esophagus. He's probably got about 3 foot of tube in him now. In the show, he'll, you know, we put eggs and all kinds of stuff in here. Right now, we'll just put a little beer. Let's see, what, some ketchup? Okay, sure, why not? It's Miller time. And maybe...
I feel a little queasy.
Do you? Ooh, a Maalox moment. Now, we're sorry about the belching, but if you were being fed through the nose at this rate, you too might get the urge to, you know, a salutary belch. Okay.
Gustatory, too.
Gustatory? Okay, is that enough?
That's good.
Long time, 'cause he bumps around so hard, rama.